Hey guys, Zen here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we're back, and I'm excited you've decided to join me. And yeah, we have a massive update video to get to for you guys. Not only are we talking the latest for Rainbow Six Siege, but there's some seriously big announcements to break down throughout the entire video. And believe it or not, the next generation is, well, here, and we'll talk about what this means for Rainbow as well. Also, yes, we finally reached 200K. Thanks so much for that. And so yeah, big one today, guys. Let's get it started. First up, we're gonna speak about probably the biggest Rainbow Six Siege event all year. The Six Invitational has been announced for 2020 and will take place at Place Bell in Montreal, Canada from February 14th through the 16th. Now, for those of you just joining us, the Six Invitational is ultimately a celebration of Siege. There's something for everyone. For starters, this is where the Pro League Grand Finals take place, where the two best teams in the world face off in a winner-takes-all battle. Last year's winner was, of course, G2, and I was in attendance to watch the confetti fall for them, but from what I hear, there's some stiff competition leading up to the next Invitational, so it could be possible a new king is throned. Also, we'll hear the full roadmap for Year 5 of Siege, the official halfway mark for the 10-year plan, and everything from the different CTUs that will be featured, as well as the very anticipated Year 5 Season 1 full reveal you can expect to be discussed here as well. Now, what's interesting about the upcoming roadmap is that here in Year 4, the devs made it clear that this year would be about making the content that's already here better, specifically with the maps. There are 3 map reworks this year, with Theme Park being the final one in Season 4, but yeah, in Year 5, we have no idea what to expect and what the general theme of the entire year will be. All I can say is that I hope there's a focus on brand new content all year long. New maps, ops, and weapons all the same, just bringing in new stuff to give Siege a fresh breath after somewhat of a low profile year, if we're honest. But guys, this is probably my most anticipated invitational yet, and it's because I am really excited for what's coming, but also very curious about the near future of this game. So where do you guys think Siege is headed? Do you foresee any more map reworks in Year 5, or do you agree with me that there needs to be a healthy dose of brand new content here for the game? Leave a comment and let us know. I'd love to hear from you. Moving on, there's recently been a new patch detailed by the devs, and there's some quality of life improvements I wanted to share with you. So let's talk about it. Now, there's actually been a bug in the live game where there was an attacker side bias while putting the lobby together. Now though, the attacker and defender side assignment is completely random, so those of you who are constantly starting on attack may now start seeing more defender beginning games. A few changes have also been made to the surrender feature, and we'll quickly list them off. Surrender now requires a unanimous vote. The surrender feature is now only available if the team is currently losing in rounds, and finally, surrender is still only available starting with the 3rd round. So overall, Ubisoft is working to end surrender abuse, and especially for those players grouping up and ending matches as quickly as possible. But also, you can only surrender if you're losing. But guys, I recommend you fight it out, and you can at least end it with your dignity. All in all, like most things in Rainbow Six Siege, surrender is now a team decision. Make it count, guys. Next up, one of the design leads over at Ubisoft Montreal was featured in an interview answering the tough community questions throughout, and there's some pretty revealing stuff that's actually very interesting news. First, the age-old question of an operator with the ability to dual-wield pistols and why it hasn't been added to the game. Ultimately, Ubisoft says it has always kind of been a thought for the game, but it would actually be an all-new way of playing the game, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but like we heard with Amaru not being able to zip around with her gadget, it just isn't Siege, or at least teeters that line a little too closely. Personally, I'd say if there was a way to do it that still plays and feels like Siege at its core, maybe limited ammo or something like that, then yeah, I'd love to see a dual wielding mechanic of some kind. But if we're running around Django style, just ricocheting bullets all over the map, then I suppose I'd take the pass. But it should also be noted that this has only ever been a thought and hasn't ever been prototyped or anything, so you cowboys out there may just need to settle for a bug. Now, another question brought up was the mysterious lights and parking garage area that's been spotted within Jaeger's headgear in the menus. So for those of you looking for the answer, direct and concrete, it's cube lighting. It's a super scientific term that boils down to the devs lighting up the operators and the surrounding areas. No guys, unfortunately, this isn't pointing to a shooting range or a mysterious mall map, it's lighting, and yeah, well done. Kaid looks stunning. The last bit here is all about elite uniforms. The exact question mentions Ashe and how she has 2 elites, and if we can expect to see this with some others, namely Bandit or Smoke. Ubisoft responds by saying not to rule it out, and why stop there? There could even be more, something like 3 elite uniforms per operator? Now, I like this question because I think there are some in the community who main an operator like, say, Smoke, and just aren't happy with his elite. The elites kind of serve as that ultimate skin for an operator you main. Yes, it is paid only, but all the more reason to slap it on an operator you play often so you can get the most out of your purchase. So if your favorite operator is IQ and you just aren't a fan of green sweatsuits, then it's basically back to the alpha packs for you. For me, I would really like to see more elaborate customization moving forward, and additional elites aren't too far off. I mean, we are talking real world money here, and of course funds aren't unlimited for most, but in general, even for the free stuff, I'd really like to see the devs get more creative and just elaborate on the offerings. Now, make no mistake, elite uniforms are amazing. I genuinely look forward to each one, but I get it. More options is always a plus, so good question and intriguing answer. Now, guys, year 5 is going to be a massive year for Rainbow Six Siege, but also as we move into the 5th year of content, Sony will be releasing their 5th home entertainment console with the PlayStation 5. So guys, the next generation of gaming is almost here, and with it brings upgrades to the hardware sphere, but also advances in the franchises that we're playing today, like Rainbow Six Siege. So let's dig in. Now, Sony have announced the PlayStation 5, and that's essentially where the details begin, with the simple and clean continuation of the numbered console. PS5, it's official now, boys, and confirmed. The other big announcement they made was about the next generation controller, which will come with 2 major upgrades. The first is a new haptic feedback feature that will replace the rumble feature of previous generation controllers. For you iPhone users out there, this is a feeling you should know well, because most of the recent iPhones have shipped with a haptic feedback engine, and in comparison to rumble, it just feels much tighter and more detailed over what can feel like a controller just shaking with intense rumble. You'll be able to feel the subtleties of your games and essentially every little detail of what's happening in game with this upgrade, so it's kind of a big deal. The other feature is the new adaptive triggers. Now, some people have gotten this confused with rumble in the triggers, and maybe that's one element of this, but based off the official post, this is a bit more than that. You'll get the sensation of tension, and game developers will be able to convey the feeling of, say, drawing a bow back before you fire an arrow, and I can imagine this actually making a tactical difference in certain games. Now, other than these 2 new features, we're already aware that the next PlayStation will be ray tracing ready, which essentially creates natural light and reflections, and will also host an SSD for the first time in a console, so faster load times across the board. All in all, we're looking at a bulky upgrade, but what does this mean for Rainbow Six Siege? Well, Ubisoft have already announced that Siege will be made available on next generation consoles, so no worry there. Now, will it be a day 1 or even year 1 port? This I highly doubt. So for those of you already itching to get your hands on this system but main Siege, it'll most likely be some time before you're ranking up in a next generation fashion. But you know what, guys, the wait could be a great thing. Console Siege is in a very strange place at the moment, and I think with this next generation update, I'd like to see Ubisoft take the game to the next level on console. Extending the field of view would be a place to start, enabling crossplay would be another move, but if I'm honest, native mouse and keyboard support out of the box would be a very welcome addition to anyone trying to take their game up a notch. Now, I typically struggle to mention this because some of you on console are controller loyalists, and yes, I will humbly admit that there are those of you with more skill and knowledge than myself wielding a controller daily, but there is no arguing that it is a limitation to some degree, even if you just account for not being able to pre-lean or lean without aiming down sight. Really, guys, more so than anything, I'd like the next generation of hardware to allow the console versions of Siege to be treated equally, allowing things like a Pro League for them and hopefully even a test server to try out new things early. All in all, though, I'm excited to say the least. The next generation is an opportunity to make Siege a better game overall, and I think you console guys have a lot to look forward to. The PS5 specifically will be available for holiday 2020, something Sony made sure to include in their post, so not long at all to wait here. But that's it, guys. I really hope you had fun with this video and found it informative. As you could imagine, lots of big stuff coming very, very soon here, and I'm just excited to get to share it all with you guys, so thank you for that. But all right, I don't want to hold you guys for long, so let us close this one up. Now, I want to hear from you. What surprises are you hoping for out of the next Invitational? And will you be picking up the PlayStation 5 when it's released? Tell me everything in a comment down below. I'll catch you guys in a brand new video tomorrow. But if you did enjoy this one, guys, drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.